Bombs away.
Oh man,
How's it going?
good bro.
Yeah.
Haven't seen you in a long time. Man.
Yeah.
It's
So right off the bat, obviously this is our first video. Let's talk like the camera doesn't exist.
yeah. I'm good, man. I don't care about the camera. This is
Yeah.
like what I preach to other people when we have the camera. People suddenly tense up and they become really fucking weird about it.
Yes. Oh my God. Oh, for sure.
Like, because we do some podcasts at work.
Mhm.
Obviously, like I won't say like what work, whatever. It's fine. Fucking third party risk, but
liabilities.
liabilities. But the thing is, whenever we started, like the whole room gets really tense. Before that, everyone is normal. They're like, yeah, what's up? How's it going? Then they see something watching them. You're like,
Yeah,
so
just go into a corporate.
yeah. I'm
mode.
like, yo, just relax, man. Ease up. So, anyways, what topic were we talking about?
So yesterday we had a phone call about friend circles and like not clicking with certain people
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
Yeah, yeah.
So just wanted to pick that up. Like last thing
Well,
we talked
that's-
about as being secondary.
Yeah, see, like, I don't know if that's actually a problem or not, but obviously now we know that we're kind of different in that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not totally comfortable with being considered secondary, right?
Yeah.
But I've come to terms with it in terms of how I want to deal with it. So I don't like it, but I make myself comfortable by going inside circles that I'm not necessarily like the golden boy there. It feels amazing to be that, right?
Yeah.
But I think you're never gonna be like that, like in every circle, unless you're like a celebrity or someone huge. So then, does that mean that you need to restrict who you hang out with and where you go and what gatherings you go to, just to those very few loved ones that you have? You just need to restrict it to that because that's the only place that is like your tribe. And like,
I don't
you
think it's
feel
about being like secondary, like just not being the golden boy, but
golden boy. By the way, that was just a weird term.
no, but like you don't have to stay relevant, but I guess like when you talk, like you just want to be heard.
You want to be heard.
Yeah,
You mean in the group,
yeah,
but like,
or at least
you
to
go
stay,
out there,
to
you
stay
don't-
relevant.
okay.
Yeah, of the group of the people that you chill with. Obviously, if you go to a bar or like a public event, you know that's not gonna happen really.
No, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But when you want to be heard or when you want to be relevant, that's dependent on time, right? Time is a factor in this equation.
Mhm.
If your end result is, I want to be heard, I want to be relevant, I want to be loved, whatever, then when you set up the equation, time is going to be one of the factors that's going to contribute to you being heard or being loved, right?
Mhm.
So you need to let time do that. You
Yeah.
can't just get into a group and say that, oh shit, I don't think like I'm relevant here. Like, no shit, you're not relevant. It's your it's your first time, like they know you, right?
Yeah.
Imagine even us, like if someone comes and hangs out with us in the beginning, like who the fuck is this guy? Like Conor
He's just gonna
McGregor. Like,
fucking
who the
fade
fuck is
into-
this guy? Right? Oh shit.
Oh, sorry.
But over time, like when you establish trust, which by the way is a big factor, when you establish trust, then you become relevant, right?
That's true.
And I think that we can get into trust later, but let's cover this first. It's that recently, each of our friends have been hanging out with different groups and different
Yeah.
people. Out of university, you know, shit starts to change. Like your friend circle starts to change. You're not always hanging out with the same crew anymore. Suddenly you see other people meeting other different people. You're like, oh shit, there's some cool people out there that I haven't met yet. So there's nothing wrong with like expanding your circle, but it is uncomfortable.
That's the thing. Like the uncomfortable part, usually people don't have a lot of confidence to get through that part. So they just, exclude themselves from whatever gathering or whatever group that it is.
Yeah, man, it's tough. It's
Or they
actually
just
tough.
like I don't want to bother, getting into. It's like a first date,
Oof, man.
Yeah,
I
like
can
you don't
tell
wanna-
you so much about that.
You
like,
don't want to
fucking
introduce
first
yourself
dates,
all
man.
over.
It's so
Hey, I'm
terrible.
Metin. I do photography. I do like fucking marketing. I worked at Ferrari for like 3 months on a contract.
No, it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah. Like same thing with like getting into like Shahbaz at Masood's house. I introduced myself to that guy 5 times. Like he still doesn't know who I am.
Shabazz. Shabazz is a good guy. By the
Yeah,
way.
he's a
Shabazz,
nice
what's
guy.
up, man? But
Like, I don't know why that's the first example that just popped into my head. but
no. It makes sense though. It's very uncomfortable because
It's different energy levels too. Like when you talk to people, like you're surfing on a different frequency than they are.
So how do you deal with that though? Like
I
you
don't
said
know.
that you like usually stay far away from it. But if you were to do it,
I
how
don't
would
exclude myself. I don't isolate myself. But if I know off like beforehand that okay, this group is going to be mostly of a certain demographic, I know that if I'm going to enjoy it or not. Right? Like if it's going to be EDM, people who are interested in EDM, or people who are interested in like modern art, I'm not gonna click with them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. See, you don't know though. You don't know unless you try, right? Like, I didn't know that I'm gonna click with certain types of people or do certain things, but over time, when I started like becoming open-minded to trying different experiences, some good
Mhm.
and some bad, then you start to figure out like these are like the type of people that I enjoy being around, but I didn't think I would. But I tried it. Now I know that I do enjoy, right? But this goes back again to seeing if you want to go far from home, because being far from home is uncomfortable. Like back in the days, like 300, 400 years ago, whatever, all these people who were explorers, like Marco Polo, right?
Like you said back in Dubai.
No, not back in Dubai. But back in the day, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's say someone like Marco Polo, where he would go travel the world, see different cultures, and like try to understand different people. That's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because it's so much easier to like sit down at home in your city and have your own home food. You're with your family, let's say, just as an example, right? Like if we see the same analogy, it's kind of the same thing where you're like, all right, I'm very comfortable around this person, that person, and the other one. We're comfortable with silence. We don't give a shit. Our energies match. But it is uncomfortable to get into new circles.
Yeah.
And for me personally, the strategy that I use is to just push through it. Like try to know about people, try to like form conversations. And all of this is impossible if you're not genuine. Because people figure out like right away or maybe with time that, okay, fuck that guy because he just wants to put on a face, right?
Yeah.
So the strategy I use is just no filter, like just being myself, which is hard as well. Because when you're yourself, you're kind of being vulnerable, right? And being vulnerable generates trust because
Like it just humanizes you.
yeah, it humanizes you and it generates trust, exactly. And then with that trust, that's like a good base to start developing more. Now, tell me about like what kind of music you like whatever. Be it like your preferences, your taste, your lifestyle, who you are, where you came from. You start to like know the other person more as well, and then bam, you have like a connection.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I see it. But going back to your point, it's tough to be secondary,
Yeah.
tertiary, if that's the
That's
thing.
right. Yeah, no, it's definitely not fun to be secondary. But I guess the challenge lies in where you would find such people too. That let's say you're being genuine and honest and no bullshit. And you meet not a certain group of people, but a group that's mostly consisting of people who are just LinkedIn basically. Right? On LinkedIn everybody's a yes man. Same people on Facebook are fucking each other's mothers in the ass.
Actually, though, yeah, I heard
Yeah.
like the culture is different. The
Yeah.
platform is different.
Everyone wants to be seen as that guy with like a tight Italian suit and everything is perfect and he agrees with everything you say.
Yeah, the thing with LinkedIn is like it's such a professional platform that everyone is scared to say anything out of the ordinary because then they're gonna see all the potential future employers that are gonna like. Hey, how you doing? What?
Okay, we're gonna leave in like 5 minutes. We're just shooting a video. Thank you.
Everywhere's closed.
Yeah.
Coronavirus. What are we
No,
gonna
it's
do?
Sunday. It's 6 p.m. on Sunday.
Oh shit! It's not related to coronavirus.
No.
No.
No,
It's a
like-
beautiful day though outside. It's you guys can't see the view, but we're by the lake.
Sorry, we'll
It's
describe
sunny.
it to you after.
Yeah, it's really nice. This was kind of a fucking quick wrap up, but
We don't have to wrap it up yet.
what to your point, LinkedIn is a professional platform. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
But what was the point? Why did we talk about that? To say that they're yes man, and then the same people.
Oh,
are
that
on
if you're
Facebook?
staying genuine and then you meet a bunch of people that are not genuine and not themselves and just kind of show a facade based on the environment they're in. Like I've had comments on LinkedIn. I've commented on someone's post on LinkedIn, specifically twisted a little bit that if you think about it, it's completely incorrect. And people say, yeah, it's correct. Like they liked it.
Oh,
and
you did it
everything.
on purpose.
Yeah.
Just to see what they.
Yeah, I got so many clap reactions. Like, guys, read this. Fucking, this is obvious.
This social experiment to see
Yeah.
the reaction. They totally
Yeah,
failed.
a lot of time at work, I'm like, hey, well, I'll fuck
Interesting.
with people on LinkedIn.
No, like for sure, I agree. LinkedIn is very different. Like the
culture is very twisted.
yeah, and there's different like platforms where each platform has a different culture. But if you're face to face with the person and you're yourself, you're genuine, they have two options. Either they engage with you and they are genuine as well, or they're gonna be intimidated by the level of like genuinity that you have, and they're gonna like want to disengage. They're gonna back off. This guy's too much to handle. Let's say.
Yeah.
Like if you're in an elevator.
That's the most awkward place in an elevator, and no one talks in an
Like
elevator.
Louis
here.
C.K. He has this skit. He's like, just go to the elevator, look at the guy, instead of talking about the weather, be like, I haven't talked to my dad in 10 years. Just see what happens. Obviously, the person's gonna be like, that's too much.
Yeah.
But the whole point is like, if you're vulnerable and you're not vulnerable like you're a bitch, but like vulnerable.
Like personally, like personality.
Yeah, like you don't mind like just sharing your story, then people are gonna appreciate that, I guess.
Interesting.
But main point is, man, honestly, like I'm not gonna say what people should or shouldn't do or what you should or shouldn't do. I personally enjoy throwing myself in new situations, and it's hard. I don't enjoy it at the moment necessarily. It's tough, but I know it builds character. Because if you look at your life as a series of events that happen, the more events you're exposed to, then the more tools you have to be able to deal with them down the road.
Interesting.
So if 20 years from now you face a situation that is totally new to you as a 40, let's say 6-year-old, versus if that same situation you've already seen time and time and time over and over again, obviously you're going to be able to deal with it better. And basically, like, life is all about like it's a chain reaction. So there's cause and effect. There's a cause and then there's an effect. There's a cause and then there's an effect. If you're able to deal with these different events that happen, then that's how like you're coined as like a successful person, I guess, right? The more situations you know how to deal with. So this is like a good way to do it, you know?
Yeah, that was an interesting point, actually.
It's like a baby goat.
How did I know this? How did I know your example? Like, he's not gonna talk about a baby human person. He's gonna talk about a baby goat.
Like if a baby goat, I don't even know like how they live, but if,
very well, actually.
if it stays in its cave or like wherever goats stay, like as babies, and it doesn't come out, then goat houses, yeah, goat homes.
Goat house.
If they stay there, then when they're adults and they get out, they see a wolf. If it's the first time they saw the wolf, they're gonna think like they can chill together because it hasn't ever seen a wolf.
Well, I mean, a goat has its own instincts. Like, it's like a cat.
Yeah, I
Like
think
when a cat, like a house cat, when it sees a squirrel, it goes into kill mode. It's like, fucking, I'm gonna rip that thing's neck off, and then it's gonna go back to lying in the sun.
yeah,
like
I
a-
guess
like,
I guess
a bunch
that
of
like the baby
characteristics are
goat, baby goat
instinctual.
wasn't the best example.
Nah, maybe like a baby bird if it doesn't fly. If
But
it just,
baby birds don't have instincts.
Well, I think flying just takes practice. I hope it does.
Hi, how are you?
Hey,
Hi, sorry, campus closed at 5.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, we're expecting, well, we're not expecting.
because of Corona.
No. Campus closed at 5 at some.
Okay. All right. So
All
we're gonna pick this up downstairs
We're
then,
gonna
yeah?
wrap it up and then we go downstairs.
Let's do this as a segue.
So first of all, guys, it's pretty cold out here, as you can see. The
we'll
security
get to
kicked us out, but
They didn't kick us out. They asked us nicely to leave twice.
yeah, I should.
Just kicked us out.
I should be more careful with the choice of words. You know, it's like they didn't kick us out. He's
Yeah.
right.
No,
Just-
we're adults. No one can kick us out. Like they asked us to leave. We could have sat there. They called the police. But,
yeah. They were nice. They were nice
Yeah.
guys. What were we talking about? were talking
friendship
about-
circles and stuff.
Yeah. Friendship circles was like the high level.
But
I
the other
think
thing
that-
I wanted to talk to you about was legalization of marijuana.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a touchy subject. Remember that time we walked into that place next to Pilot
Yes.
and the kid was wearing a bulletproof vest
Oh shit. Yeah. Yeah.
and you had to show ID
yeah.
and walk into a place that you don't know what it looks like inside?
And I'm surprised that he was wearing a bulletproof vest. That's in Yorkville, man.
Yeah.
Like, who? We're not like.
But every place is like this. Think about it. Every place is like this. This is supposed to be legal like liquor, right? With liquor, you show your ID after or while you're purchasing, while you're paying. But with marijuana, you show your ID before you even enter the space. Everything is packed up in like 3 different packagings, right? You don't know what the inside of the place looks like. It always danks. You don't know what you're buying until you actually buy
Okay,
it.
wait. But what's your point?
I'll get to it. The fact that you have to show ID to a kid, they're all kids. They're all like little high school kids.
Like the security guards.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Bro, one of them. Hey, how's it going? It's a cute dog here. By the way, don't worry. Like dogs don't get corona apparently.
I wasn't worried, but the
I don't
night
know,
that you said that,
I just
might
had
be.
to. I just had to say that. I read an article. Okay, so you're saying they're kids? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they're kids with bulletproof vests on.
Bro, one of them is like huge adult man. Like this guy is.
Yeah, but I mean, a liquor store doesn't have that, right?
Yeah. I guess a liquor store is more established, right? So they've had more time to be comfortable with the idea of selling that
Sure.
kind of product, right?
What I was thinking is maybe with this whole legalization thing that they're making it look more illegal than it already is. They're making it look like it's
They're still giving
related-
it a sketchy
Yeah.
kind of vibe to it.
yeah.
right?
When you walk in and you don't know anything about anything, you look like you walk into a cartel place. Like the kid has a bulletproof vest on. When was the last time you saw a bulletproof vest?
Probably like in Mexico
Yeah,
when we went to
yeah.
Acapulco.
The cops had him.
Yeah, they had tanks too there.
Yeah, yeah. But like next thing you know, the weed stores are gonna have tanks in front of them.
Imagine. I think it's not helping with the public perception when you have a place like that. Now
No.
imagine the same place set up just like a regular bar downtown. It's
Yeah.
like very chill, you know. Like it's unnecessary. Like the bulletproof
is.
vest is totally
It
unnecessary.
is, and they were shutting down all these little places like cafe that, you know, the nice lady is sitting behind the desk and just casually looks at your ID just to make sure that you're old enough.
Cafe was nice.
Yeah, but they put a couple of cement blocks in front of
Shit,
it,
so
it's not
now-
there anymore.
That makes me think. Do you think that there is like an agenda behind
Probably.
portraying these institutions as such?
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like there is, just because they're making it look more illegal than it
Which
already
is
was
unnecessary,
before.
right?
Yeah.
Like they can totally make it not look like
Of
this,
course.
right?
I don't know if this is a regulation. We're gonna look into this later. Jamie, pull that up.
Jamie, can you can you pull that up?
when you get a chance?
We need a Jamie, man.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
Why not?
sure.
We need a Jamie. Like we could have answered that question right now.
Who could be Jamie?
Who?
Yeah, I don't know anyone who does research well. Like Nusha's okay with research, but
Man, research is not hard. You just Google like, why does this happen in the dispensaries where that guy wearing a bulletproof vest and the government.
and you're
what
gonna
you
put
search.
this in Google?
Just write a whole composition on it. No, but seriously, man, it's a good point. It's like governments are probably doing this. The government is doing this to bias the public perception of these products and institutions.
Yeah, and I don't know if you read on the packaging. Everything is made by Aurora. Aurora Cannabis makes all of those things.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Is that like the only one producer of
it's
these?
the biggest one that's
plants?
legal. Yeah, plants. That's the biggest one that's legal. Yeah.
Okay, well, okay, no, that makes sense. But I have an opinion on this.
Say.
So, I feel like with the evolution of or transition of this generation to the next, this is gonna become way better in terms of the perception that the public has. Because like baby boomers, they don't like weed.
No.
Mostly, right? That perception. Millennials, they're a lot more open-minded to it. Maybe like the older end of those millennials again may not have a good kind of perception of it. But let's say us, right, as millennials, and then we'll go to my brother's generation, Generation Z, or Generation Z. So I think they're gonna be fine with it, and it's gonna get better over time.
Yeah.
And government is not gonna be able to have that sort of power in terms of shifting the perception that the public has.
I feel like the way they cemented the whole marijuana usage thing is that, sure, it's legalized and you can have up to 30 grams on your person. I don't think I've ever seen 30 grams in one place.
That's like Pablo Escobar, man.
Yeah, that's like big level weed. Like no one needs 30 grams at
30 grams,
any
you
given
can get
time.
the whole city high for one.
Yeah,
man.
they can put it through the air conditioning and get the whole building fucked up.
Yeah, man. No, that's a lot.
But like they're still making it look like this is a drug. It's not a recreational thing. This is a drug. It looks like a drug because this kid's wearing a vest that's protecting him from bullets.
Man, that's a good point. I never actually thought of it this way though.
Yeah.
When you say it, you're just strolling down Yorkville, nice streets,
Exactly.
fancy cars,
Yeah,
whatever.
no one's gonna break into that
And
weed
then
store.
suddenly
with
you get
machine
into it's a
guns.
whole different environment, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think about the legalization of weed in general though? Because I'm sure you used to smoke before weed was legal, right?
Yeah.
You fucking criminal.
So you do it, boy.
And now that you know that it's legalized and you kind of seen these two different phases, what do you think?
Well, I think that obviously there's an agenda behind it, just because everything is made by one company.
Okay.
And then, you know how we were talking to that woman in Honeypot, and she said a bunch of real estate owners and real estate agents came up with this idea, and the building is owned by them.
Yeah.
So there's definitely an agenda behind it. I think that the government couldn't tax it before just because it was a hand-dealt thing on the street with cash. And now that the fact that you can pay with debit or MasterCard or whatever, or Visa, they can tax you on it. They can see how much you bought based on your card transactions, based on your ID, based on whatever. Yeah. You know that store by on College? There used to be one on College across from Home Hardware.
Okay.
Just
yeah,
before Kensington. They would register you with a profile, take a picture of you with their camera. Did you ever go into that store? No.
Talking about cafe on Harvard?
No, not on Harvard. No, on College, just
Never.
west of Spadina. The guy would have a webcam there on top of his computer. He would take a picture of you, and take a picture of your ID, and then you would go in and buy whatever you want.
Through all of these weird security measures, do you think that they're trying to dissuade people from getting close to these products?
Not dissuade, but still putting a criminal stigma on it, just making it look
Like a mugshot when you enter.
yeah, it's still illegal. Sure, it's legal, but it's still illegal. This is still related to the cartel. Pretty much, that's what they're trying to say. That I feel like, at least.
La Madrina. By the way, it's just random. There's a song La Madrina, and I searched what Madrina means, and it's the queen
Mhm.
of narco trafficking. There was this queen of narco trafficking in Colombia. She was called
Pablito
Label La
Escobar.
Madrina.
Oh shit.
It's a cool name, man. It's
Madrina. Damn.
yeah, that's interesting.
I'd like to be called something similar, La Padrina.
It's like La Padrina. Papacita.
Yeah. Papacita. La Papacita. Sugar daddy.
That's definitely not a good name.
That's
for,
a sugar daddy right there, Papacita.
The cartels won't take you seriously. Oh, Papacita's coming.
He's called Papacita? Fuck that guy.
That's a weird name.
Yeah.
But I see your point, man. But then going back to what you said about the fact that there's a single producer
Mhm.
of these products, that doesn't necessarily make it or that doesn't necessarily mean they have an agenda, right? Because I think LCBO is the same, right?
LCBO is a supplier.
They're a supplier, but okay, interesting.
Yeah, LCBO
They're
doesn't
not
have
the
their own
producer,
brand.
Yeah, okay.
Even if they do, it's not they don't create it. They just put their sticker on someone else's shit.
It's not the majority of the market share,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Dispensaries are suppliers, but it's as if LCBO only sold Jack Daniels or only sold Heineken. In this case, Aurora has a contract with Shoppers to develop drugs and shit for them. Or not over the counters, obviously, prescription drugs. They also have contracts with all these dispensaries that are government supported and like permitted and regulated and everything by the national government.
Okay, but
Yeah.
then going back to my question though, are you happier that it's legal now or not?
No, because it surprises you how many people are high now.
How many? Wait, like, what do you mean it surprises you? How so?
I get stuck in traffic a lot, right? In the morning, in the afternoon, at night, and I see like a puff of smoke leaving a car. I see this every time I get stuck in traffic. And I roll my window down and it smells like weed. Like
Okay.
people didn't used to do this at all. Like it used to be a drug, like you're using a drug.
Okay.
Now that it's legal, it's like having a beer, right? You're just gonna catch a buzz, whatever, it's fine. No one can detect it on you. There's no test. There's no like breathalyzers. There's nothing.
Okay, and you're
Drop a couple of Visine drops in your eyes and you're good.
and like what are you like alluding to when you say that? Like, is there a certain implication? Is there a concept? Like, why are you against that though? Against the fact that people just use it more casually now?
Well, I'm not against it per se. It's just that a lot of people are using it. It means a lot. It's just becoming more common and more regular to have like people that are high around you.
So what? That's like, and I'm not saying that's like necessarily good or bad, but I'm trying to get your perspective. Like, what's wrong with that, or what's the problem with that?
I don't know. I feel like having people that are sober around you that are not addicted to this, because like if you do something a lot, it just becomes an addiction whether you want it or not. And people that are addicted to this, and this has become something that they have to do, otherwise they feel like shit. It's like cigarettes. This is not good, in my opinion. Plus, what they're smoking is generally garbage. Like they walk into a store but they buy pre-rolls or they buy like a weird strand that just came out 2 days ago.
But here's the thing though, if someone is in such dire need of weed, let's say,
In what way?
like addicted, like you said,
Okay.
right? If someone's addicted to weed, then I don't think it's gonna matter to them whether weed is legal or not. They're still gonna find a way to get it and find a way to smoke it. So, you know what I mean?
I do, yes. But I feel like this addiction would have been like a lot lowered, a lot more minimized if it wasn't legal. Like it wouldn't happen as much. I don't know how many people are actually addicted to it. I don't know how many people are actually using it. Like I don't have
Jamie, we need to pull that up.
yeah some specific stats, some numbers we can crunch. But yeah, like I feel like this becomes more and more common. Like yeah, he's high, it's fine. No, not. There's no one there. It's just a guy. He's making a sandwich or whatever. It's like a sandwich.
I mean, it would have been nice though if we got a little buzz for this episode, you know?
yeah.
Next time.
Next time, weather gets a little warmer. Like you
Man,
don't want to be
it's-
high in this cold.
It's cold, man.
Yeah.
It is cold. I feel like you're gonna feel it more too. You're gonna feel the
I
wind
find
hitting
my hands
against
a
you.
little cold, but yeah.
Yeah. Overall, I mean, from my perspective, it's becoming a little more widespread, right? And I personally like it because, and I'm being selfish when I say that, because as a person who usually cares about how he's perceived through other people's eyes, which obviously, to some extent is important, but overly too, that's like being obsessive about it, that's not good. But anyways, as a person who cares about that, I think that now the public sees this as less of a drug, so to say, and it's become more accepted.
That's the thing. Like they're still making it look sketchy.
Oh, they are, yeah. That's
Yeah.
going back to your first point, right, about the dispensaries.
Yeah.
And-
That's why cafes sold like smelly bags that cops would need a warrant to search you for. Remember?
The,
like
the Ziploc ones.
yeah,
right?
yeah, the black ones.
Those were good bags, by the way.
Yeah.
They were very nicely designed.
Yeah, the design was
The
very
design
good.
is so shit now, man. I lose like 200 calories trying to open one pack. It's like
Exactly.
triple, quadruple layered with like different.
Yeah, different material. There's like a cardboard thing, and then there's like a push to open plastic bottle, and then you get to it. And
Like
there's
you're not
like
opening up a nuclear bomb. Like relax.
Yeah, you're unboxing a whole car there. No, you need like a good force of like 5 people to open it.
I don't like that. That I don't like.
Yeah.
If
That's just telling you how like industrialized it's becoming. That's the fact that I don't like about it. Like it used to be a fun thing that you would do, and then you would just like have a ball, like just dope, right? you have a good time, like you're just chilling with your buddies, you're smoking near a fire, or
Yeah,
like having
yeah.
food, or just having a conversation, watching a movie. Now you go through this whole hassle to open a pre-roll that someone else licked, or maybe they didn't lick, they used like one of those roller machines that like it's so hard to smoke through that your whole face hurts. You have to like squeeze your face to
Bro,
smoke.
you gotta like really suck hard.
Yeah, like fuck that. Did you lose like the joint that I rolled the other day that Masood said the pants are a little loose?
Yeah.
How nicely it smoked?
It smoked. Yeah,
Yeah.
It burned pretty well.
Yeah, like it doesn't get tight that so like the second half of the joint is just unusable.
Dude, I hear you, man. Like
Yeah.
that's the one thing I don't enjoy about it. Like there's pros and cons to it, but that's literally one of the reasons why I don't like it as much. Plus the quality has dropped by a lot.
Yeah.
Like-
Have you ever opened one of those pre-rolls to see exactly what it is inside? Yeah, it's not good.
Probably don't want to do that, right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Probably have some shit in between.
It's just garbage. It's like all the stems are crushed in there. Everything like leaves that don't even belong there.
It's
Just
kind of like home cooked food versus like some shit fast food, right?
yeah,
Like they
yeah.
just-
It's like if you could dissect a McDonald's patty, like what you would see in there, it's exactly what's inside a pre-roll.
By the way, those things don't go bad. They put so much like food preservatives
Yeah.
on those things. They don't go bad. They did this experiment on YouTube.
With Burger
Well,
King?
They didn't do it on YouTube. They did an experiment somewhere else, then they just uploaded it on YouTube.
Thanks, Dr. Phil.
And it didn't go bad. Like,
know.
It didn't go bad for 30 days, 40 days on. Yeah.
Burger King had this commercial a couple days ago or a couple of weeks ago that they put a time lapse of a burger, of a Whopper, and within 3 days it went bad, and that was their commercial.
Is it called a Whopper?
Yeah, Whopper.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're really
I
good.
used to call them Whoppers.
No, Whoppers. Whoppers. That's fucking savage.
The burger is fucking kicking your ass.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that was the whole commercial.
the Whoppers are good.
Yeah,
By the way, are you hungry?
I could eat. Yeah,
You wanna go to Jermaine's?
I'm pretty sure he's closed.
Yeah.
I went last Sunday and he was closed. Jermaine, stay open, bro. It's Sunday, come on, we gotta eat.
Missed your sandwiches, man.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean,
Like looking at a drug dealer's eyes, looking into a drug dealer's eyes, buying weed in a Ziploc from them, paying them cash. That shit's like good. Like you open it, like you can even smell it through the bag sometimes. It's that good.
those ones, hit hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, like,
You don't need to smoke a whole joint. You can smoke like a quarter of a joint and you're fucked.
I just want to talk about this for a bit in case there are people on the other end thinking like we're crackheads or some shit. Like, people have a negative perception of this, man. Honestly, you do your thing, you get through your day, you do what you gotta do, take care of who you gotta take care of, just, complete all your responsibilities. And at the end of the day, you just want to relax, you just want to kind of like just chill out. I don't see why that would be wrong. There's so many other drugs that can fuck you up. Like, weed can't really fuck you up. Sure, it can make you slower if you overdo it.
Not really. Like it depends on you. If you're already slow, yeah, it can fuck you up. If you're if you're already retarded, like there's no way around it. You're gonna get fucked either way.
But you know what I mean? Like, people do have that perception of it, though.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, this like pothead, whatever. Like, it's, I think, less harmful than cigarettes. Like 100%.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
For sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Plus, like how regularly you smoke it, obviously depends too. Like it matters.
Yeah. Like, know your fucking limits,
Yeah.
right? But at the same time, don't let like Joe Blow down the street, Joe Blow's judgment dissuade you from enjoying yourself. Little puff didn't hurt nobody.
Yeah. Little Puff. I think he killed Tupac though.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's a conspiracy, by the way. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's true.
It could be. I don't know.
Miss Tupac, man. The way I'm saying as if I knew him.
Yeah. It's your
But-
home base.
But it's just like
Chill.
he's a great
Yeah.
artist, man. Yo, you want to wrap it up? It's getting a little chilly out here.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to read you this story that I wrote, and then we'll wrap it up.
Oh shit, you want to read this? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down to hear the story, man.
So I've been having not
Is this the
troubles, huh?
Is this part of the story?
No. This is like a prelude to the story.
RC English?
English. Fuck, my hands are that cold.
telling you, man.
Yeah.
Comfortably numb.
So this is... It's like a fictional story. It's not a fictional story, but all the characters are made up. It's based on like true events. What characters are made up, inspirations are from the people that I know.
Interesting. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these are imaginary characters, but they're somehow connected to the people that you know.
Events are real. The events in this thing are real.
Events are real. Okay.
Yeah. The events are real, and you will see that they are real.
Yo, let's do it. Man.
The events, the locations are real. It's just that the story itself is not. It's you know, what I made up.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
So there it goes. Jared was a Canadian student, Caucasian, Western looks. His dream was to travel the world after university, and he saved up a little bit of money to do that. He started his trip with a bit of a problem and lost a lot of money and had to stay in a little country called Syria, temporarily for work, and ended up staying. This was 14 years ago. Since then, Syria had gotten really badly damaged in war with ISIS. Jared got moved around a lot and had lost his documents in a raid and had kept moving. He became a refugee to Germany and then to Canada, and there was no other way around this. He was kept in Germany for an extra 2 years to get temporary paperwork, and so by the time he got back to Canada after 16 years, knew a few skills that were no longer useful here and an undergraduate degree from 16 years ago. This 40-year-old man is now applying for an unemployment service that is another way of saying welfare at the local career center for a middle-aged man who can't find work in the busy part of Toronto. He was from a decent family and grew up content and well in Kingston, Ontario. And also in Syria had a peaceful, honest life. Work was everywhere. The money was enough to run his life with great view and fresh fruit markets downstairs. And now he was in this cold, dark Wednesday evening of Toronto's suburbs in a government office waiting with a bunch of other people whose lives depended on that handout money. Everyone drinks out of a paper cup and everyone's wearing a huge furry coat. Oh, had life had changed.
Yeah.
He learned some stuff years ago in the university as an industrial engineering student in process engineering and workflow optimization.
Whoa, that was specific. Wow.
But there were two problems, chief among which was the fact that he didn't remember shit from 16 years ago's textbook and software. Other problem was that the process and skills became obsolete as computers and internet became more available to the average Joe. And so his knowledge was useless anyways. And so there goes the engineering part of his character. In Syria, he'd worked as a part-time truck mechanic, where he worked on old Mercedes trucks to keep them working using the most local techniques. Syria wasn't exactly rich to begin with. And so his mechanic skills are outdated and are of no use with the modern city buses that are mostly hybrid, if not electric. His other skills were body work and manual transmission repairs, also useless. Also, as a 40-year-old man who chose to live in the Middle East and now is a refugee without paperwork, there aren't a lot of career options, and he can't go to college or school to learn new material and can't really train for a new skill because of his age and learning curve. He lived in a nice house in Canada before, and in Syria was even better. He lived in the master bedroom of a large ancient house in the middle of the beautiful sunny Aleppo. Every morning he would wake up sounds of people's live chatter and hustle, have fresh milk with his breakfast, and life was good. Everyone knew each other and said hi to each other and borrowed each other's cars and went to each other's houses for lunch. And now yesterday he watched his community housemate's body get removed from the building inside a plastic bag by paramedics while someone else yelled at a tree. Crazy. He did get robbed in Syria once when a riot broke out, and their entire neighborhood, being in the generally wealthy sections of the town, was raided. He lost his documents that proved he was a Canadian. He always wanted to go to the consulate to apply again to get his paperwork, but he was always busy and the office was in Lebanon, so he never got around to it. He didn't know he needed them until it was already too late. ISIS happened very quickly there, and before anyone knew it, they even had a YouTube channel. They were savages. Jared would never guess that such savage people would live there. They were burning museums and libraries and dropped random people in acid pools in a cage. It was pretty bad in Syria near the end. It was all over the news in Canada and everyone knew about it and felt bad for the people who'd lived there and changed their profile pictures to the flags of the country, and media did a great job covering the events closely too. Encouraged people to sign petitions and donate money to help get rid of the terrorists and rebuild the ancient city. Oh no, wait, that was Paris. Never mind.
Was that part of the story?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was Paris. No one gave a shit about Syria. No one had the slightest clue where Syria was on the map to the nearest continent, let alone know about a dumb group of underdeveloped Neanderthals building down knowledge and history. Well, Westerners knew of ISIS, but they were fed perceptions similar to Voldemort. Like how it's horrible and doesn't really exist, and it's also more cool than it is cruel. He had heard about people joking about it on the street and called its names to other residents of his new community, and it broke his heart every time he heard it. He felt awful for the nice civilians who lost their houses and earrings and children and cows, and sorry for the people here that knew life not outside their broken, drug-infested, dark rental apartments, and divorced parents who each had a new partner, one even with the same gender, that claimed open-mindedness, yet no one knew about Syria, or Iran, or Iraq, or Afghanistan, or Sudan, or Tibet. Poor little Syria. They never asked for help. Well, they did, but no one heard it over the noise for Kanye's new shoes. So we will ignore that and say it just didn't. Jared was still sitting in the unemployment office, thinking in his head, looking back at his life, looking at pictures on his phone. Had he wasted his life? He didn't know. He would start from the bottom of the pictures when the phone was new and would scroll up towards the end where happy thumbnails would slowly become mostly of rubble and broken concrete. The 1-year-old phone was from Germany, but the 256 gigabyte memory was from 4 years ago back in Syria. He would see that last selfie he took with Rahman and Ivan at the outdoor boxing gym, a picture of his neighbor's car's odometer to stay sincere to him and to show him that he only drove the car for a few kilometers and not to make money. The clutch master cylinder of that last truck he was working on before the house next door exploded and pieces of building fell on top of in front of his little shop. He hadn't heard from Ivan after he went back to Belarus, and Rahman after he died in front of him, so there was no way he could reach out for a chat. They were running from the city in a private pickup truck when the Toyota Isis mobile showed up and mowed everyone down with their machine guns. The driver of the civilian cars were always assumed to be the owners of the vehicle and therefore rich. And in case the driver gave them what the driver gave them was not enough or satisfactory, the driver would be executed somehow. Rahman couldn't convince the ISIS people with his little money and belongings, so they had no other choice but to cut his head off with a dull machete and kick it around, while us, the other kneeling inferiors, watched in horror and disbelief. It's getting cold, man. Needless to say that this group of people did not care about anything and broke everything and killed everyone in their way. He tapped hard on another picture from when his memory card was new. Was playing around with his then new X phone when he took this blurry picture of a red car's driver's side front fender's dent and somehow never deleted this picture, and somehow he never could. That day was special. That day he bought a red car for a very cheap price because it had a dent on the driver's side front fender, and was feeling very proud of himself to get a very good deal, has negotiated in Arabic and saved a few bucks on his new used car. He always had a motorcycle and sometimes nothing, but a car was a new experience to him. He had always traveled and work was in walking distance and never needed a vehicle anyways. In that time that he was in Syria, he had traveled to Turkey, Iraq, Iran, Azerbaijan, Russia and Emirates, and always came back to Aleppo. It was home. He didn't know why, but there was something in the air there that was just better. Now serving number 137 at counter 5 was announced through the speakers of the unemployment office. The sound snapped Jared out of his daydream back into about his past and pulled him back into reality. He looked at his ticket, 137. He stood up, walked up to the counter, handed the clerk his ticket, his dignity, and his papers. She gave him a form, told him to fill out the highlighted areas and give it back. He was approved for just enough money to cover rent and 15 days worth of food. He hung himself 2 months later.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Shit, that's how it ended?
Yeah.
Bro, that was a good story, man. How long did it take you to write this?
1 a.m. to like 5 a.m.
Bro, I was actually like visualizing this guy and the way you were talking about back home with the lively chatter and like the fresh cup of milk and the fresh fruits at the supermarket. Like, that's the tribe, like that's home.
Yeah.
Such a colorful scene. And then you fast forward to cold weather, furry coats with plastic cups.
Paper cups. Everyone drinks out of a Timmy's cup.
Paper cups. Bro, that was a good story, man. Yo, actually, like, you need to write more. You're a good writer.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And with
You guys
that,
hear that? Appreciate your lives, girls and boys.
yeah, and do some research about areas that are broken.
Don't think Middle East is just like this one pit where everyone moves around together. It's different people, different cultures, different languages. Get to know them. It's better for your own knowledge and education as well.
Want to wrap it up?
Let's wrap it up, man.
All right, man.
Yo, thanks for having me, bro.
Let's do this again. All right.